Hi, welcome back to Peppy Post video tutorial series. This is Dibya here. So today I am going to discuss about one of the very important email authentication mechanism, which is known as SPF. So the full form is Sender Policy Framework. So I'm sure you might have heard this term from either your email service provider, or you might have read somewhere about SPF and you want to do SPF on your emails. So while this is one of the very important email authentication mechanism which you should be doing on your emails, but it is very important to understand why it is so important to do SPF, what are its benefits, and doing SPF is really going to uh, like help you in the email delivery. Is it going to help you in reaching your emails into inbox? If you have not done SPF, then does that mean that your email is going to land in spam? So you should be knowing the answer of all these questions before doing the SPF. So I will go with the basics of first SPF, then I will go into the detail of how to do the setup of SPF and why it's so important. So what's SPF? So it's known as Sender Policy Framework, as I said. So this framework was designed by RFC long back, and if you go to the RFC articles, you will be able to see the SPF. They're talking about the SPF framework. There is a website called OpenSPF where you will find all the syntax and related things about SPF also in detail. So here in my tutorial, which you are able to see on my screen, I have summarized all the RFC guidelines. I have summarized all the guidelines which have been received from internet service providers like Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, and I have also added the tips based upon the past research of Peppy Post on this particular email authentication mechanism. So you will find a summary of everything inside one tutorial, so that you don't have to go to multiple places in order to understand what is this really all about. So if you see my tutorial, the first section where I have explained about what is SPF. So SPF is a set of technical guidelines which are primarily used to prevent spammers from sending messages on behalf of your domain. So you might have seen in your Gmail account, you might be receiving lot of emails, spam emails from different companies. So let's give examples. Like last month, I have received a email from Microsoft saying, "Hey, you have got selected for so and so position, and we are looking forward for you to send your resume, and this is the link where you have to do the registration and so and so." And they were asking for some registration cost also there. So do this email really originated from Microsoft, or is it some spammer who is trying to send email and trying to collect money on the behalf of in the name of Microsoft? So when I tried to debug that, then I found that the email was not really originated from Microsoft, and Gmail has also marked that email as spam, and it was landing in my spam folder. So how Gmail come to know about this, that the email is a spam email? One, the SPF was not passing because the email was sent using the Microsoft domain, but the server which was used for sending the email was really not there in the SPF record of Microsoft.com, which means Microsoft.com has really not approved that particular server to send any emails on the behalf of Microsoft. So if because SMTP is a open protocol, so anybody can send email from anyone's email ID to anyone. So that's the truth of SMTP protocol. You can send a email from hr@microsoft.com to someone at gmail.com. It's really possible on SMTP protocol. So SMTP protocol by default doesn't have any email authentication mechanism, because of which all these new frameworks like SPF, DKIM, DMARC are now becoming very popular in order to protect the emails from getting spoofed via these spammers. So SPF is a framework where you need to publish a TXT record. So it's a record which needs to be published on your domain's DNS. So here, like in my example, Microsoft should publish the list of servers or list of email service provider which he is approving from his end, that these are the providers who can use his domain for sending emails, any sort of emails outside the network, to the end user. So that's how this framework works. So even if someone use microsoft.com as a domain, but if he is not using the server which Microsoft has assigned, allowed to send emails from, then he those emails will be treated really as spam, because the SPF will fail in all those cases. So that's the summary of like what is SPF. So why I really need to like publish these TXT records and allow external IPs into my domain for sending the email. So this one might be a question which is arising in your mind. For example, you are a bank, big corporate bank, and you have a domain known as abcbank.com. So now, why you are going to allow other IP addresses or other email services providers name on in your SPF record? So that's a something weird thing. So let's understand that when you are sending email, most of the time you are not maintaining your mail servers. So it's all like most of the big companies, corporates, even mid-sized companies, they buy services from some third party, like the Peppy Post is a third party email service provider. So they buy services from Peppy Post or any other service provider, so that they can send emails, because doing a setup of email servers in house is a very costly affair, and you require it requires a lot of email expertise also in order to ensure that your emails are reaching into inbox. So in order to minimize the cost and in order to get rid of all these email management issues, people generally prefer to send emails using some third party service provider. This is why this SPF is really important, and you need to add those third party service providers into your list, so that you are allowing a specific set of third party only to send emails on your behalf. So how really this SPF works? So here I have mentioned a few couple of steps which you can go through. So I have given the link of this document in the description below. So don't worry about that. You can click on the link below in the description, and you can read these steps. I will try to show you more practical examples here, so that you are not stuck in the theoretical knowledge and you really know what is SPF and how really it works. So let's take a example here. So here I have taken a domain known as leeparking.fr. So what I need to do is I have to check what is the txt record. So SPF is a record which needs to be added in the DNS txt. So if I check the txt record of this particular domain, so then let's see what it comes. Yeah, you can see there are two txt records are there for leeparking.fr. One is some Google site verification code is there, and second one is actually a SPF record. So how to know this is a SPF record? So it starts with v equal to SPF line. So if v equal to SPF is there, that means this is a SPF record. So now you can see there are three service providers which this Lee Parking has allowed on his SPF to send emails from. So the first provider which he has allowed is Peppy Post. Second provider which he has allowed is Mandrill, and the third provider which he has allowed is Elastic Email. So there are three service providers which he has allowed in his domain. So this means any emails which are coming from Peppy Post, Mandrill, or Elastic Mail will be treated as SPF passed, and any domain, any emails which is coming out of the networks, out of the IP addresses which are owned by these three providers, will be treated as SPF fail. And the emails where the SPF fails, whether it's a soft fail or whether it's a hard fail, mostly it will be treated as spam. So that's how the SPF works. So now let's see a real example here on the email. So I have opened a email in my Gmail client. So you can see the same Lee Parking domain. The mail came from here. It's there in my inbox. So it's delivered from Peppy Post, for your knowledge. So here you can see for this leeparking.fr, if you click on these three dot buttons and you click on show original. Yeah, you can see the SPF is passed, the DCAM, which is another email authentication mechanism. This also I have discussed in one of my other video tutorial. I've shared the link for that also in my description below. So right now let's focus on the SPF. So you can see the SPF is passed and the IP address is mentioned. So now this is the IP address which is owned by Peppy Post. So now because if there was some other IP, let's suppose 101 or some 105 or something like that, this might have failed because it is coming from a IP which is owned by Peppy Post. Hence the SPF is passed here and the email is in there in the inbox. So that's how the SPF works. So let's go below in the document to see what are the other things which you should be knowing. So SPF can be done in two ways. One of the most popular way of doing SPF is by adding a TXT record in your domain's DNS. So this is the most preferred way, which is done among all the email service providers. So the example which I have shown you just now was a TXT record example, where the domain Lee Parking has added the SPF record in format TXT record. The other way of setting up the SPF record is by doing a CNAME pointing. So let me show you a example of that also. If I try to see the SPF record of this delivery.leeparking.fr, so now here you can see that when I have searched for the txt record of delivery.leeparking.fr, so I have actually searched for the txt record, but it is showing that this domain is CNAME to this particular domain. So this means there is a CNAME record exists for delivery.leeparking.fr, which is pointing to lnk.peppypost.net. So this means delivery.leeparking.fr has not directly published any DNS record. It has published it has canonically linked all the records to peppypost.net. So now all the records which are published on this particular domain, that is nlk.peppypost.net, will be indirectly and directly get applied on this particular domain. So what is the benefit of this? So this particular domain owner, that is delivery.leeparking.fr, doesn't have to really bother about what is SPF, what is DCAM, what how to do link tracking, custom link tracking and all inside the emails. So once he has done one record, so he has created one record, that is delivery.leeparking.fr is pointing to lnk.peppypost.net in the CNAME. So now he is done. So now if I try to see what's there inside this lnk.peppypost.net, then just click on this. So you will see the list of IPs here. So let's see what is the txt record of this lnk.peppypost.net. So now here you can see this lnk.peppypost.net, which is the email service provider, Peppypost email service provider. It has lot of records, and there is one SPF record is there in that particular domain, where you can see lot of IP addresses are included, and you can see peppypost.net also included. Everything is included. So what happens is, because that leeparking.fr has given a canonical link, then a CNAME pointing to this particular domain, this means all these IPs will automatically get added as a authorized set of IPs for sending emails from leeparking.fr. So all these IPs will automatically get authorized to send emails on the behalf of leeparking.fr. So that's what this canonical uh, has helped here. So instead of Lee Parking has to do specific SPF record entry in his DNS, he can just do a canonical thing, and then PebiPost can really manage all the IP addresses, whatever should be allowed to send emails. So that is the magic of this canonical pointing. So another benefit of canonical pointing is when you do this, so your email might be containing lot of links inside this. So like here one image is there which is having a link, then another link is also there. So you can see here on the screen this particular detail button is pointing to delivery.leeparking.fr/lt.pl something something. So when I hover on this, instead of Peppy post name, the link which is being shown here, it is coming as delivery.leeparking. Even if the mails are sent from PeppyPost, PeppyPost has not added his domain in the link tracking URLs. So this might you have seen that when you send email from any of the service providers like MailChimp or SendGrid or someone else, by default the links which comes on your uh, these buttons is of the service provider. But here in this case the links will be of your domain only. Like here in this case the domain was Lee Parking and the links were coming of Lee Parking. Why this is possible? Because he has done a one canonical pointing, that is CNAME pointing, and because of this CNAME pointing SPF is done, these links things been also handled, DGAM is also done, everything can be done with that one particular SPF record, CNAME record. So that's the magic of this CNAME pointing. We prefer our customers to do CNAME pointing on a subdomain, and then that subdomain can be used as a sender, and those subdomains can be used inside the links also in the email. So you will know a detail about those in my documentation which I'm showing here. So the link for this documentation, as I said, is there in the description below. You can click and you can read out through this. So I will not try to explain everything in this video because it will otherwise become very lengthy. It will be good if you can read this and you will come to know about this in detail. So now let me explain you how to like create a SPF record which needs to be added in your domain's DNS. So here you can see this was the SPF record which was there for that particular domain Lee Parking. So now how this record came, who gave this record really? So when you subscribe for any email service provider, and if they have the support for SPF, like PeppyPost has the support for SPF, they will give you a record which will look something like this to be inserted in your DNS. So now what you need to do is you need to copy that URL and first go and check whether you already have a SPF in your DNS or not. So let's take an example here. So let's take an example, leeparking.fr, who has already has one SPF record in his TXT, wants to use a new service provider known as abcemailcenter.com. So that's the name of the service provider, abcemailcenter.com. So now that ABC email sender wants Lee Parking to add his own SPF record in the DNS. So now what he will do? So he doesn't have to go to his DNS and add that as a new record. Instead, he has to copy the existing record which is there like this. Copy and open a notepad. Paste this. You can see lot of include statements are there. So each include means you are allowing one service provider. So if you want to allow the next service provider, you have to write include again here. then colon, then you have to write the name which that service provider has shared with you. So that you will find in the record which they have given to you. So let's take an example. It is abc email sender.com. So the record will look like this. So you have to copy this record now, and you have to go back to your DNS. Let's suppose you are using GoDaddy or any other provider. So you have to log into your DNS provider there and go and edit this record. You have to edit the existing record and paste the record which you have just now created. You don't have to create a new record here. You have to update the existing record. So if you create a new record, then what will happen is two SPF records will get created, and then that will be treated as a invalid SPF, because as per the SPF policies and the ISPs, what they are checking is only one SPF record, that is V equal to SPF1, should be there in your DNS. If two V equal to SPF1 is found, then those will be treated as a invalid SPF record. So you should not be going with a two SPF record. So you can have multiple service provider, but all those should be clubbed inside one SPF record. So that is one what SPF record means. So this is the most common mistakes which brands do, because of which their SPF fails and ultimately their emails also starts landing into spam also. So you should be very careful about this SPF record. You should not be doing that. So that is how to set up the SPF record. Then at the end, I will try to highlight the limitations of SPF. So there are certain limitations of SPF because of which it is not completely foolproof. It is not completely the mechanism which can help you in protecting your emails from getting spoofed. So hence there are some new technologies, new mechanisms which came into picture are known as DCAM and DMARC. So I have written about these DCAM and DMARCs also in my other documents. So the links for that I have shared in below in the description. So while SPF is good and it is one of the fundamental and basic steps which you should be doing, you should also do DCAM and DMARC on your emails. So once you are done with SPF, one year you are done with DCAM and done with DMARC, your email is completely secured and you are ready to send emails with high inbox delivery. So while doing all these three records does not ensure 100% inbox delivery, but these are the things which should be done in order to ensure you are complying with the email best practices. And once you are complying with the email best practices, the chances of your emails landing into inbox will be much more higher. So while SPF is not a completely foolproof solution, as I said, this doesn't mean that you should not be doing that or ISPs are not checking for SPF. You should be doing, because the ISPs are right now checking SPF not on the from address. Instead, they are checking the SPF on the return path domain. So I have talked about return path domain separately in my other document. You can refer that. So just to give you a quick glance of what is return path domain. So I will go back to my email here, which was there. So you can see the domain from which the mail came was leeparking.fr. But if I click on this arrow button, you can see the mailed by domain is delivery.leeparking.fr. So there are two domains are there. One is leeparking.fr and mailed by domain, that is the mail from where it is coming, is delivery.leeparking.fr. So this particular domain will be treated as a return path domain. So this is currently a subdomain of the main domain only, but you can use a different domain also. It's not an problem, but proper SPF pointings and DCAM things need to be done. Mostly SPF will be checked on this particular domain. They are not checking on this domain, but it is recommended to do SPF on both the domains, that is the main domain and the subdomain which is used in the return path. So SPF is not completely like vanished. SPF is there, and it's one of the very fundamental mechanism which all the ISPs are following. They are doing a check on that, and they are doing that check on a return path domain. So you have to check with your email service provider whether they are doing SPF on the sender domain, that is the visible from domain, or they are doing the SPF on a written part domain. If they are not doing the SPF on a written part domain, then please make sure that they are sending your emails with SPF done on the written part domain. Otherwise, your mails will start landing into spam, because this is the recent change with which has been observed, especially in Outlook, and in some cases other ESPs or ISPs also, where they have started observing SPF on written part domain instead of the from domain. So Gmail do also check SPF on the written part domain. So that was the limitation, and how you should be overcoming with that. As I said, you should be using DCAM and DMARC, which are the some of the more fail-proof mechanism, and it all works together. So that is what, in short, of all about SPF, and hope you are now having a good idea about SPF. So you should now go back to your email service provider, check whether their SPF is doing or not, on which domain they are doing the SPF. This is very important, whether on the from domain or whether on the written part domain. Try to ask them to do the SPF on both the domains. If not possible, then at least on the written part domain they should be doing the SPF. On PepiPost, we do SPF on both the domains, that is the sender domain and the written part domain. So I hope the video tutorial was very much helpful, and you have now fair idea about SPF and how to protect your emails from getting spoofed. In case you have any questions, then feel free to comment below in the YouTube comments. And if you have any questions related to SPF, or how to do DCAM, or how to do DMARC, or how to ensure that your emails will reach into inbox and not hitting the spam, please feel free to ask questions below in the comments, or you can reach out to us on dx@pepipost.com also. So for any more such videos, to listen more such videos on email and email related issues, what are the email best practices, subscribe to this channel, or you can search for PepiPost tutorial also on Google search. So till then, thank you so much. Bye bye.